outlined very clearly, addressing those concerns through his actions. He's spoken about them, whether it's about the purchase of Russian oil, whether it's about the trade imbalance. Addressing those concerns is important. So the president's been very clear. His concerns about what he has seen from India speak for themselves. He's truthed multiple times about it. But ultimately, this is about a frank and full dialogue, and that's what it means to advance American interests. That's what it means to really have full diplomatic dialogue with partners to address concerns that we need to see addressed.
Meanwhile, across the southern American border in a high-stakes diplomatic move, PM Modi has received a phone call from Brazilian President Luiz Ignacio Lula da Silva. Now, just as global concerns rise over Donald Trump's tariff spree, both leaders have reaffirmed their commitment to boosting the India-Brazil strategic partnership, focusing on trade, technology, energy, and defense as well. Now, with both countries hit by steep U.S. import hikes, this conversation signals deepening alliances between the global South powers who are determined to protect their economies. Meanwhile, PM Modi later called the talk meaningful and people-centric. Uria Fancelli, senior journalist, joins us straight from Brazil's Sao Paulo to get us more on this. Now, Uria, what do we make of this? The phone call, does it signal the global South coming together against Trump's tariff flip-flops?
Brazil and India, on the other hand, joined the bloc not to attack the West, but to gain more visibility and more influence. That's why this move from Trump might end up doing the one thing that the BRICS had always trouble achieving, giving the group a shared political purpose. By hitting both Brazil and India with tariffs, Trump is pushing them toward closer alignment with China and Russia inside the bloc, countries that already saw the US as a threat. A group that often struggled to speak with one voice now finds itself facing a common challenge coming straight from Washington. And that political effect is coming on top of growing economic ties. And there's already talk of India opening its market to more products from Mercosur, which includes Brazil, Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. In other words, Trump's move is accelerating South-South cooperation and encouraging countries like Brazil and India to work even more closely together. So in the end, this strategy might backfire. It reinforces the idea that the United States is no longer a predictable or reliable partner, and it gives the BRICS exactly what they lacked, a political reason to act together, not necessarily to attack the West, but to build an alternative, and that's a message that goes far beyond just tariffs. That's why President Lula wanted to call Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
We shift our focus far east, where National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Kremlin on Thursday. Now, a video released by the Kremlin press service captured the very moment Doval warmly shook hands with Putin, right there on the screens right now, before the two leaders sat down for high-level talks. Now, this key meeting is a part of Doval's visit to Moscow, signaling a deepening of strategic ties between New Delhi and Moscow. Earlier, for perspective, Doval also met with Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu. Now, the visit comes ahead of a trip by President Putin to India later this year and amid growing tensions between New Delhi and Washington. Meanwhile, listen in to NSA Doval.
You very rightly mentioned, Excellency, that we have got a very special relationship, a long relationship, and we highly value our strategic partnership. We have had high-level engagements, and these relationships, these high-level engagements have contributed very substantially. We are very excited and delighted to learn about the visit of His Excellency, the President of Russia, President Putin, to India. I think that the dates are almost finalized now. The more important thing is this, that is, these summit meetings have always been the watershed points. They have always given a new direction to our relations. What is there that we can add in substance in terms of deliverables for this talk? So I do hope that this meeting at this point of time will give us some new ideas and throw up some new things that we can make the forthcoming meeting more worthwhile.
Well, we stay with Russia, where in a major diplomatic development, the Kremlin says Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet in the coming days. Well, that's correct. Trump recently said there's a very good prospect of a summit that could perhaps include Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as well, aiming to jumpstart stalled peace talks over the war in Ukraine. Now, Zelensky, as we all know, has backed the idea, while Putin has called a meeting with Zelensky far off from now. Meanwhile, Trump's deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire or face tougher sanctions expires Friday, only hours from now. Meanwhile, talks could happen as soon as next week, possibly in the UAE. That's what we are picking up. Meanwhile, Russia continues heavy airstrikes, and the US has just approved another $200 million in new military aid for Ukraine. Tensions are high, expectations are low, but the world is watching like it has been since February 2022. And for more on this, we are joined by commentator and author Dr. Richard Benkin from Chicago. Thank you so much, Dr. Benkin, for taking out the time and joining us here on NDTV. Now, what realistic outcomes can we expect from a Trump-Putin meet, given the deep divisions? And also, do you believe that Zelensky's willingness to engage signals a shift, or it's only symbolic?
First of all, thank you for having me on. Everyone I've spoken with, the people that I get information from, everyone here is really taking the attitude of, well, let's see what's really going to happen. If you look at the two sides, Ukraine and Russia, their positions really are so far apart, seemingly mutually exclusive. Russia invaded Ukraine with the idea of bringing Ukraine back into the Russian orbit, putting in a government that would be responsive to Russia, whereas Ukraine was moving closer and closer to NATO in the West. I don't see that as having changed very much, and I don't see either side as having given much on their position. So I think in the most generous way, we're saying, well, let's see what happens. Let's give it a shot. Maybe we'll get something good. But I don't think anyone is popping champagne bottles right now, expecting the war to end very soon.
Thank you so much for your perspective there, Dr. Benkin. Unfortunately, we'll have to stop it here due to the paucity of time, but we'll definitely follow up on this again. Now, shifting our focus to another war raging in the Middle East, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the country plans to take full military control of Gaza, but he insists that it does not want to govern the Strip long term. He's in fact said that the goal is to defeat Hamas, secure Israel's borders, and eventually hand Gaza over to a non-Hamas, not Palestinian Authority Arab force. He added that the US and Israel agree on 5 post-war principles. Now, this includes Gaza's demilitarization and civilian rule by non-Israeli actors. But Arab nations have rejected the idea altogether, saying only Palestinians should and must decide Gaza's future. Hamas has meanwhile called Netanyahu's comments a coup, while critics, including Israel's opposition, are warning that the plan could prolong the war and even endanger hostages. Listen in.
We intend to, in order to assure our security, remove Hamas there, enable the population to be free of Gaza, and to pass it to civilian governance. That is not Hamas and not anyone advocating the destruction of Israel. That's what we want to do. We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. And you were in the Gaza Strip today. You met Palestinians who are fighting Hamas because finally they see that they have a future. They can rid themselves of this awful tyranny that not only holds our hostages, but holds 2 million Palestinians in Gaza hostage. That's got to end.
Meanwhile, NDTV World's Vishnu Shom also exclusively spoke with Israeli PM, where Netanyahu in fact said Israel will not fully annex Gaza, but won't stop until Hamas is destroyed. Here's Vishnu for you.
Responding to a question which I posed to him here in Jerusalem on the potential impact on people in Gaza, whether there would be an increased number of casualties if Israel were to enhance their missions in the Gaza Strip, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, said that Israel didn't have any plans at annexing Gaza itself. However, there would be a significant move, it appears, in the near future, which would ultimately lead to the creation of a transitional authority which would look at the entire Gaza situation. Now, that transitional authority would only be created, or Gaza itself would be handed over to the transitional authority once there was a security perimeter which was created by Israel. Now, the boundaries of that transition, of what Israel plans in terms of the security perimeter were not defined to me, but it does appear that that's something which the Israeli armed forces, the Israeli government would look at very closely once they're able to separate Hamas terrorists from innocent people in the Gaza Strip. Benjamin Netanyahu also making it clear that the situation would be much better if Hamas were to lay down their arms immediately and call for a ceasefire, so that there could be a process of getting back the hostages, because that is the biggest priority of Israel. Remember, there are 50-odd hostages who are still in the Gaza Strip being held by Hamas. It's believed that the large number of them are alive. But this news of what Israel plans to do next with Gaza comes at a time when international efforts to try and bring a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip have failed. Israel has now decided to act to try and end that crisis in Gaza once and for all. The Prime Minister also making it clear to us that Hamas would not have any role in this transitional authority. In Jerusalem, with camera person Xavier Thomas, Vishnu Shobh for NDTV.
With that, it's time we step into a short break. Don't go anywhere.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
And that's why it's being said that after Kahuna Pyare, this is the film that has got two superstar debutants who are becoming superstars. But what was this faith that you had on these two that that shows on screen?
You don't plan to make a blockbuster. You plan to make a good film. And that's what I think they never let me, they didn't put that pressure on me to live up to. They never gave me a number that we have to hit, or a so-called figure that I have to open to. There was, all these trappings were just not there, which normally producers do end up putting that pressure. Then you make wrong things. Then you add a song for a shadi song, add a Punjabi song. All these trappings were not there in this film. They were like, just go there and make your film. Do this script. We love this script and make it honestly. And I think the minute that happened, a filmmaker I could just spread my wings and just go out, not worrying about a few. I think when you do that, you get a little more fearless, and then that's what got picked up by people. So I cast appropriate for the film. I didn't cast thinking. I cast what felt right.
You were saying that you are going to say no to him.
Yeah. But that's his fault. Huh? He was behaving. Now that we can talk about the film, Krish Kapoor cannot be a timid, sweet boy.
Yes,
sir, how are you, sir?
Last time we spoke.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this guy? He was a sweet boy. And then by the end of the night, I could see the boisterous self, and I could see the Krish Kapoor who could stand on top and say, don't forget this name, it's Krish Kapoor. So I think I was looking for that a bit. I needed a spark of that.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
Welcome back. You're watching World 24/7. And now we shift our focus to Canada, where a second shooting has in fact rocked comedian Kapil Sharma's cafe in Surrey. Over 25 shots were fired at the Caps Cafe. Now, this comes just weeks after a similar attack in July. Two rival gangs, the Goldie Dinlaw and the Lawrence Bishnoi groups, have claimed responsibility online. Meanwhile, a chilling voice in a video said, we called the target, he did not answer, now we've taken action. The first attack, for perspective, occurred on the 10th of July. It saw at least 10 bullet holes but no injuries. Now, that incident was linked to Khalistani terrorist Harjeet Singh Laddi, also wanted by India's National Investigation Agency. Reports say it followed a joke about Nihang 6 that angered some. Meanwhile, authorities in Maximum City, Mumbai and Canada are investing, with Caps Cafe saying it stands strong against violence and remains a place of community and warmth. Meanwhile, my colleague Maha Siddiqui joins us for more on this straight from Vancouver. Maha, first of all, what's the latest you're picking up, and are the two incidents, the July 10th shooting and the shooting last night, are they connected in any way?
So Arjun, I am in Surrey at the moment, right outside Caps Cafe, where the attack took place at the hours on Thursday. The Surrey police say in their statement that a call was made to them at 4:40 a.m. that shots had been fired at the Caps Cafe, a matter of huge concern because this is the second such attack within a month at Caps Cafe. And this time around, the damage to the property is much worse than what we'd seen the last time around. Let me quickly show you some of those damaged property visuals here, which will give you a sense of the seriousness of this attack. You can clearly see, Arjun, that the window panes here are shattered. You can even see the bullet marks there. And if I just take you across to the other parts of this property, you'll be able to see that there are at least 3 window panes that are completely shattered over here. In fact, this was the exact spot last time around where the attack had taken place from across the road behind me. As you can see, that is where the miscreants had come and had fired the shots. You can see that the Surrey police vehicles are standing here. Investigation continues. The Surrey police say that they are aware of certain claims that have been made on social media this time around by the Lawrence Bishnoi gang, claiming responsibility for this attack, but they are saying they are investigating all the angles, looking at, talking to witnesses as well as looking at any footage around this area. But the big question is that only last month, less than a month ago, on the 10th of July, there was an attack. And why was this property left vulnerable again to this attack? This is something that the Surrey authorities really need to respond to. Moreover, the fact that Lawrence Bishnoi gang itself is one gang that is under the scanner of the Surrey administration. In fact, so much so that the Premier of British Columbia, David Clinton, said that he's writing to Prime Minister Carney asking him to get this gang, that is Lawrence Bishnoi gang, listed as a terror outfit so that authorities can deal with the threat and the menace of extortion and the threats that are being rolled out to the South Asian community, specifically in this area. The business community can be tackled more effectively. So under these circumstances, questions do emerge. They are looking at all the angles, yes.
You raised a very important point there. Of course, the visuals you showed are very disturbing. We also saw a police patrol right behind you. And very important, the central question remains, when on July 10th there was a similar attack, and clearly there was no security, these goons or terrorists, whatever you call them, the investigation will find out. They come back, they fire 25 bullets, 15 bullets more than they fired on the 10th of July. And all we see is one police cruiser in the background there. Have there been any solid measures that have been announced for not just the security of the Caps Cafe, which has been targeted twice in 1 month, but also other businesses in the Surrey area?
So, Arjun, the Premier of British Columbia, David Eby, in fact, 2 months ago had said that there have been concerns, major concerns expressed by the business community in some areas. Surrey is one such area where there is a heavy population of South Asian community who had expressed concern about the threats and the extortion calls that they received from many of these gangs. He says that the Lawrence Bishnoi gang that operates out of India is one such gang that needs to be taken care of. And one of the ways that he proposes that they would be better armed to deal with them would be to list them as a terror outfit. But the other outfit that had claimed responsibility for the previous attack on Caps Cafe is already a banned outfit. And therefore, the question arises also, how are they able to so easily have guns on them, something that is not common here in Canada for people to have arms.
Yes, a lot of questions arising there, Maha, and clearly more talk than action or answers from the Canadian administration at this point in time. We'll, of course, keep on coming to you and following the latest developments, but thank you so much for getting us the latest for now. And with that, we shift focus, where Apple has announced that it will invest $100 billion more in the US. Now, what could be the impact on India and the rest of the world? Watch this very special report just for you.
It seems Tim Cook is the new golden apple of Trump's eye. After months of facing pressure from the US president to shift Apple's manufacturing back to American soil, the chief of the tech giant took to a path many have ventured before, booing President Trump. Visiting the Oval Office, Cook didn't show up empty-handed. Along with announcing a fresh $100 billion investment in US manufacturing, he brought a unique golden gift, a piece of iPhone glass mounted on a 24-karat gold base.
Today, Apple is announcing that it will invest $600 billion, that's with a B, in the United States over the next 4 years. That's $100 billion more than they were originally going to invest. And this is the largest investment Apple has ever made in America and anywhere else. And it's just an honor to have you. As you know, Apple's been an investor in other countries a little bit. I won't say which ones, but a couple. And they're coming home.
President, we took that challenge very seriously. I'm glad to be here with you today, and I'm very proud to say that today we're committing an additional $100 billion to the United States, bringing our total U.S. investment to $600 billion over the next 4 years.
While it seemed like a simple glass disc, it signaled Apple's Make in America commitment and scored a big win in Trump's tariff war. Trump's new 50% levies on India have left out smartphones, a crucial factor given India recently surpassed China to become the largest exporter of iPhones to the US. Apple will also dodge incoming new tariffs on semiconductors, since it committed to building iPhone components in the US. While these high tariffs no longer spell trouble for Apple, they still hurt the tech giant, with Cook saying tariffs will likely cost the company $1.1 billion this quarter alone. In India, the tariff bite won't spoil the Apple harvest, as manufacturers have remained firm, going ahead with plans to produce the next iPhone in India. Yet with Apple pushing its manufacturing back home, remains to be seen what the future holds for Apple in India. Disha Bagchi for NDTV.
Well, it's time we slip into a short break, but news continues on the other side with my colleague Divya.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
Mohit, you are known for your music. All your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial and those music are kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much you give, how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. That's how long the song will last, is what I genuinely feel. If you don't give that love, you're not going to get it back. It's just a simple debit and credit procedure, I think, with the audience. I genuinely feel I don't have any special skill. I don't know any scale or anything else. It's just that I enjoy that process a lot. Give me an evening to just go for a film party or something, I'll skip it. But you give me like a struggling musician to go who has a great tune, some new guys, chill all night with them. I can do that. I can just sit there, make music and stuff like that. We just did that recently. Fahim came down. He just surprised us, and we met in my Bandra office. And Han was there, Aneet was there, and he made me hear his other songs and stuff like that. But it was it's so much fun, because I just think making music. Film you still get to see something. Yeah. I think music.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Very good morning. You're watching NDTV 24/7. This is the Breakfast Show. I'm Divya Vaza. We have a whole lot lined up for you, including very tragic news coming out from the national capital. We're talking about actor Huma Qureshi's cousin who's been killed over a parking dispute in Delhi's posh Nizamuddin area. We'll get you details. First, the headlines. A parking murder. This is actor Huma Qureshi's cousin who's been killed due to a parking dispute which took place outside his residence in Nizamuddin, a very posh area of the national capital. The two people who are accused in the case have been arrested. The murder weapon has been recovered as well. And 13 Allahabad High Court judges urged the Chief Justice of India to defy the Supreme Court order barring their colleague from hearing a criminal case. And Rahul Gandhi will be leading a protest march that's going to be taking place in Bengaluru, a rally a day after the leader of the opposition's a big allegation against a vote fraud. We're talking about the Election Commission there daring Rahul Gandhi to submit proof on oath. And Trump flip-flops over tariffs. Trump says no more negotiations with India, while officials are saying that the full and frank dialogue will continue. This is a flip-flop that is amid the BRICS backing India. And the tariff tip, it's a Brazilian president has called up Prime Minister Modi to remember. He said he'd rather speak with Prime Minister Modi than speak with Donald Trump. The phone call amid Trump tariff snub. Lula has said that he's committed to making ties between India and Brazil stronger. firing at Kapil Sharma's cafe in Canada. Do remember, this is the second such incident that's taken place in a matter of a month. Let's start the bulletin with breaking news coming in of actor Huma Qureshi's cousin who has died. Why? Because of an argument that took place right outside his residence for a parking. This was a two-wheeler that was parked outside his residence, which is in a very posh area of Nizamuddin here in the national capital. This took place at about 11 o'clock at night, and this is the area. We're talking about the Jangpura Bogal lane in Nizamuddin, and the police say the dispute broke out after a two-wheeler was parked near the gate of the house that was blocking the entrance, and which is why the man went out to tell these men to remove their two-wheeler so that the entrance to his house would not be blocked. But it led to an altercation in which he was in fact killed. They used a very sharp weapon. The weapon has also been recovered. The two men involved in the attack have also been arrested. Asif was taken to a nearby hospital in a very critical condition, but the doctors declared him dead. Shubhang, my colleague, joining us to get us the very latest on this. Shubhang, this is a very known area, the Nizamuddin area. At 11 o'clock at night, outside his own house, the man gets killed. Why? Because of parking, and that too of a two-wheeler, which could have easily been, pushed or pulled to, another spot.
Well, right, the way you rightly said, because this was just a petty parking issue. The information that we are getting right now is that in the national capital's Nizamuddin's Jangpura Bogal Market Lane, yesterday night around 11 p.m., when the deceased Asif reached his home,